Are we live? Yes, we are. Good, good, good. Hello, if you are watching the VOD by yourself. How's it going? Just going to configure chat here. Okay. What? No. Oh, subscribers only mode, that's fine. Okay, sweet. The chat is working. Nice. Haha. Apologies for the late start for those of you who are watching. I don't think many people are watching right now, but nevertheless, if you're watching this from the future, I will probably put timestamps at some point so that you can skip ahead and go when the juicy part starts. Still warming up. I don't think this stream will be super long. I am aiming at roughly 2 hours. We're just going to have some fun, rank the 2025 anime. Once again, I don't know if a lot of people will come to this one like they did for the other one. Mostly because today is like a work day. I should also take these off. Hey Yeet God. How many are we ranking? We're ranking 31, all of these, which I hope you can see on screen right now. I'm just going to try and get a YouTube live control panel. And this is it. Okay, the chat is looking good. This is nice. Okay. So I'm just going to start by giving, I guess, a brief description of how I came into this list. This is pretty much everything that I watched this year that started this year. That was the limiting filter because, for one, I didn't want to include ReZero and other stuff that I watched on the previous year because at some point that's just, kind of cheating. I'm pretty sure ReZero was already my anime of the year of 2024, and I didn't want to include it as well in 2025. It just felt weird. So for pretty much this entire list, what I did was I filtered by things that started in 2025. So things that finished in 2025 but started airing in 2024, I did not count. Namely, things like Dragon Ball Daima, Shangri-La, and I'm pretty sure I don't see ReZero here, but yeah, Blue Box as well, ReZero, Fairy Tail, not that Fairy Tail would have a chance of winning. But things like Orb as well. I'll be honest, I think that probably the one that got feeling the most sour is probably Orb, because I think Orb had, if I really think about it, it had a very strong chance of winning, but I don't want to count things that started in 2024, and if I count Orb just because I didn't rank it last year, then I think I would just have to count everything that ended in 2025 but started in 2024, and at that point I think, due to my own personal biases, which I admit, they exist, okay, you are not watching the review of a robot who goes by purely objective metrics, whatever that means. I am a very biased reviewer and I make no lies about it. I do not try to hide it in the least. So if I counted the anime that started on the previous year, I think at that point ReZero would just win. So we're not doing that. I am sorry for the fans of Orb, because arguably maybe Orb should have won last year, or at least I would have ranked it very, very highly. But the thing is, last year I did my tier list before I watched Orb. People actually told me to watch Orb after I had already made my video, and it was a great recommendation. I hope that we get another banger recommendation out of this video. Usually, whenever I do these tier lists, it's almost like it's as much for you guys as it is for me, because usually you guys recommend good stuff, and I've gotten a bunch of recommendations, most of which I've greatly enjoyed, because you guys also know what I'm into. And so, I think... let's see what the missing banger this year was. I don't think that this year really has a missing banger. I will tell you which anime I thought about including, but I just didn't have time to watch. I think that this year I pretty much watched everything that I wanted to. I tried to make the time for everything. I just recently binged, like this week, no, last week, I binged, where is it? The Summer Hikaru Died. I binged it last week. This was like the only leftover of something that I missed that I heard very good things about. And so I wanted to go check it out just to be sure I wasn't missing any hidden gems. And it was very good, in fact. So I don't regret watching it. So the only two anime that I maybe should have watched and didn't have time to is, one is Kowloon Generic Romance, which I heard mixed things about. On one hand, I heard it was very good and it was a mystery anime and it was fun, and also it was a sort of romance where the characters actually get it going, which is very rare in anime. So, and I also, it's not set in high school. Oh my goodness, it has adults doing adult things. That's lovely. So I wish I had time to watch this. I did not have time to watch this, so I will not be ranking it, and I just didn't want to delay this tier list any further. And the other hidden gem that I also didn't watch, and by hidden gem I mean hidden poop, is of course The Rising of the Shield Hero Season 4. If you guys are new to the channel or you've never watched a video of mine, Rising of the Shield Hero is something that is akin to the Room of Anime to me. It is so bad that it spins around and it becomes good. I like to hate watch it. It is the only anime that I hate watch, because to me it is so bad that it's just funny. It's just so tropey, so poorly written. Everything is so silly, just so ham-fisted explained. It's just so bad. But it's fun. It's a perverse type of enjoyment. This year there were so many good anime that I didn't have time to check this one out. I will be enjoying myself in the future. I think if there is ever a weaker season, I will go back and watch The Rising of the Shield Hero. But yeah, I would not, even though I didn't watch it and I do plan on watching it, this isn't something that I would ever recommend unless, like me, you're also sort of into hate watching or just have this perverse enjoyment in watching things that you know are bad. I don't know how else to explain it. But either way, Rising of the Shield Hero and Kowloon Generic Romance, these were the only two anime that I consider sort of leftovers that I didn't have time to watch. Besides that, I watched pretty much everything I wanted. Now, let's get into the actual tier list itself, and I will close Twitter to not distract myself. Let's get into the actual tier list itself. For this tier list, I ended up doing something that I did in my previous volume, Rezero volumes tier list, which if you watch that one, then you already know how this is going to work. Instead of doing just a normal, peak, great, good, mid, whatever, I have a lot of years of watching anime, and by this point, I have a very, very strong pre-selection bias. I only go into things that I'm pretty sure I'm going to enjoy, especially as time becomes scarcer and scarcer. So what ends up happening is a lot of my tier lists end up becoming super top heavy to the point where it's comical, to the point where it's like, for example, my winter tier list, sorry, my autumn tier list had a lot of great, one peak, and then it had two dropped anime. And it's at that point, that's not really a tier list, right? So what we're going to attempt to do is I'm going to lock the tiers by tops. So top 1, there can only be one, anime of the year. Top 6, I can only add 5 to this tier. Top 16, top 25, top 30, top 31, which is the worst anime I watched this year. If you saw my previous videos, you already know what it is. But either way, this is sort of something that I'm going to artificially impose on myself to have a more interesting video, a more interesting live stream where I actually have to think instead of just dumping everything into peak and good, and that's just pretty boring for everyone, right? So let's just do it like this. Now, I am kind of hesitant on how to start, if I should just address the top first and go from there, or if I should just go on a sort of random order. So, maybe instead of the top, maybe let's start at the bottom. Let's start what was the worst anime that I watched this year. And I'm just going to scroll up a little bit so that you guys can see the list through the webcam. And let's get right into it. So what was the worst thing I've watched this year? I think it has to be that, right? I mean, I can't even find it. Did I forget to put it here? Hold up. Did I forget to put the worst anime of the year here? Where is it? Oh, there it is. Yeah. So, after much consideration, and not really, I just knew it was going to be this one. The Assassin Exceeds the Hero is the worst anime I have watched this year. It is not good. It is not good. I think from a visual standpoint, and I don't want to sort of reiterate everything I said on my autumn tier list, so I'm just going to quickly go through this one. From a visual standpoint, I think this anime has some good things. It has some nice character designs. The elves in particular look very good. It has a sort of older-esque look that some people will appreciate. Having said that, at some point you need more than pretty visuals. And by the way, the pretty visuals, the character designs, not all of them are good, and the animation isn't something that is on the level of Solo Leveling or Demon Slayer, so it's not like the visuals just blow you away anyway. So it has some pretty character designs. The writing is abysmal. It is atrocious. It is very, very bad. It is repugnant at points with how ham-fisted everything is. It's just not something that I would recommend to anyone. I started watching it because I saw some people online gassing it up, and because, much like most of you, I saw the elf and I thought, that's a pretty elf. Let's watch this. And yeah, I would not recommend it. I dropped it in episode 5. I maybe should have dropped it earlier. I was just waiting to see if it got better, and it didn't, so I dropped it. So that is it. On that same vein, since I'm just right now reiterating the fall anime, which you guys already know, I'm also going to put To Your Eternity Season 3 in top 30. To Your Eternity Season 3 was, in my opinion, an absolute downgrade on every single level from the previous seasons. It is a downfall that, quite honestly, it was a bit bizarre to me how bad it just fell through. Oh, I just noticed that I don't have the chat. Hold up, let me just put the chat here as well so I don't miss anything. Okay, good. So To Your Eternity Season 3, I'm just going to give you a quick recap. Once again, I've already talked about this one like 2 weeks ago. So To Your Eternity Season 1, Episode 1 is arguably one of the best first episodes of anime ever, in my opinion. It is so good. And that first season is very, very strong. Enter Season 2, I think we got sort of lost halfway through, but we managed to find ourselves right at the end of the season. I think Season 2 is not as compelling to me as Season 1 is, but it is still a strong season that will leave you satisfied, and arguably it is the end of the series, and the series should have ended there. Once we get to Season 3, it looks, I put it this way last time, and it's the best way I still find to describe it. It looks like fanfic. It sounds like a fanfiction somebody wrote after they watched Season 2. It does not sound like it was written by the same author at all, and unfortunately it is. I don't know how that happened, but it is just a downgrade on every single level, and it's got too many things that just let me down. And yeah, the cast is worse. They just have like storylines served on a silver platter that were so easy to execute, and they just detour into these high school characters. Once again, why do we have to just shove high school into everything? But yeah, I didn't like Season 3. A lot of people told me it gets better, that I should give it another try. Maybe I would. I just fundamentally don't have a lot of time this year, and this season, I don't know if you guys have already noticed, this season is quite a banger in itself. It has a lot of good shows that I want to watch, and I want to devote my very limited time to watching, so I don't think that, realistically speaking, I will ever give this one a second try. So it goes right into top 30. Okay, now let's just go through the list somewhat randomly. Maybe the order that is here is somewhat presentable. Yeah, sure. So, To Be Hero X. Where do I put To Be Hero X? My first instinct is to put it right here. I think, to me, it was not the anime of the year. I know some people will disagree with that. To Be Hero X, however, was very, very enjoyable. I will say, the thing about To Be Hero X is that it's very similar to something like Ishura, which is strange to say, but it is similar in the sense that it has lots of characters, and there is no single set main character. Throughout the episodes, you sort of have different story arcs which accompany different characters, and at the end, all of them converge in a single epic storyline. And there will be a season 2 where all of these characters will continue converging. But I thought that season 1 was incredibly strong, very, very strong visuals, incredible soundtrack, once again by Sawano, who you guys already know does all of the best stuff. And strong visuals, great presentation, great soundtrack, and the characters. Here's the thing, why it's not anime of the year for me. I think that the quality of the characters, the writing is pretty tight throughout, and you have this sort of writing where it almost always wants to end in a cliffhanger, and so sometimes some episodes can be a bit climactic and just sort of ramp towards the end, which can be a bit annoying sometimes, where you're waiting for the resolution of something and somehow it keeps building and building. But still, I think the writing is good. The writing is very good. It's just that some characters are much better than others, in my opinion. And this is sort of like a problem that you have in these types of series where you focus on too many characters. Inevitably, the audience will have favorites. And that's what happened to me. To me personally, I greatly enjoyed the first story arc. Towards the middle, I was not enjoying those characters so much, but towards the end, it just ramped up back up again, and I love the characters that were featured at the end. And to me, it's a very, very strong show. I would definitely recommend it. Once again, just for the one person that is thinking that this is not an anime, this is a donghua. Okay, just want to make that clear. But either way, I think this show, very, very good. And if you just listen to the soundtrack, I can't play it to you because YouTube will just, copyright system will just shove me against the wall and do unneeded things to me. And I don't like to be shoved against the wall and molested. But, but the thing about To Be Hero X, just go listen to some of the soundtrack. This has the most banger soundtrack possible. The soundtrack for one of the main heroes, X, is so good. I think the soundtrack is called New Type of Hero. If you want to listen to it, it is incredibly good. This was also very well rated on Mal, which I found surprising because Mal can sometimes be a bit inconsistent and also a bit harsh on donghwas in particular, because obviously there's a big anime bias on Mal, which is, to be expected. But still, I think this is very, very good, excellent anime. If you have the time to go watch it. Now, My Happy Marriage. I mean, I think this is probably a top 30, if I'm being honest. I watched this with my wife, and this is the thing. My wife is much like me, very much a completionist. Once we start something, she wants to finish it. And I don't think... It's not bad. We watched a second season until the end. It's not bad, but it's also not something that I would ever rewatch or really go out of my way to recommend to someone, if you know what I mean. So, My Happy Marriage is pretty much the Japanese version of Cinderella, or at least it starts that way. Somewhere along the way, we sort of shift into Sailor Moon, and we get this sort of weird, almost battle shoujo, battle shonen type of arc, and there's this romance which is, how do I say it? The romance can be compelling, especially if you're into the sort of shy, bland girl that gets in love with the more stern male who is colder, but because he's protecting his heart and is afraid of being hurt or whatever. My Happy Marriage, the romance, I think, is well done for what it is, for the type of show that it is, for the type of audience that it's trying to capture. But for me personally, I think both characters are not super compelling. I prefer seeing a romance where the characters are more dynamic, even if it can be more messy. For example, I think Blue Box did... Blue Box is not from this year, no. But for example, Apothecary Diaries is a perfect example. Jinshi and Mao Mao, both of them are not really conventional characters, especially Mao Mao. She is, to me, one of the best main characters of all time, so it's a bit of an unfair comparison because those are tough shoes to fill. But in Apothecary Diaries, like, the romance is much more fun because the characters are more quirky and they're just overall more interesting, and because I'm more interested in the individual characters, I'm also more interested in their romance. In My Happy Marriage, everyone is just sort of bland and safe. The story is very crazy because, once again, it shifts from a sort of romance to then a almost battle shonen at the end, but the romance aspect just is not it for me. So yeah, it's just mid. It goes into top 30, and I don't think it will be raised any further. Now, Clevatess. This is where we start getting into an interesting territory. I can see raising this up or downgrading it into purgatory the more we go on the list. For now, I will aim at top 16. I think Clevatess is sort of middle of the pack, on the upper end of the middle of the pack. I thought it was very, very interesting. I thought that Clevatess has also one of the best main characters of the year. I think that, what was her name? Alicia. Alicia is to me one of the best main characters of 2025. She is proactive, courageous, smart as is needed for a main character. She is super cool. The Clevatess himself, the demon, is also cool in his own way, although I think Alicia is the more compelling main character, especially because of the power dynamic between the two. She's always at a sort of disadvantage and sort of has to manage keeping this demon lord happy, but at the same time following her own values as a human and saving humanity. And I just think this entire story of like having a demon taking care of a baby is just sort of yeah, Luna is the name of the baby if I'm not mistaken. This entire story is very kooky but very interesting, and they sort of, even though they have interesting characters, they also have a deep focus on the lore. I think Clevatess does a good job at sort of making this world that slowly unveils its mysteries, and you sort of get to know things as the series goes on, but it's always very, very interesting. And at the end of season 2, I was eager to know more. I want more, and I think there will be a Clevatess season 2. In fact, yes, it's here. It's already been announced with no date, I think. But yeah, I'm thinking this is going to be very, very good. I greatly enjoyed Clevatess, and it was one of those anime where I watched it, and I watched it after the season aired, and I said to myself, damn, I can't believe I missed watching this weekly, because it also has some banger cliffhangers, and the discussion weekly must have been very, very good. But yeah, to me it is, although not quite good enough to be in the top 6, but let's see how the list pans out. I think it is definitely on the upper end of the anime that I watched this year. Also, for those that are watching, for those that have just arrived, be sure to leave a like on the stream. It really helps, guys. Thank you a lot. Yeah, let's move on. Up next, Demon Slayer. Oh, wow. And this is where things start getting interesting, because Demon Slayer, what is it called? Infinity Castle. I was about to write Infinity Train, but that's the previous one. Demon Slayer, in my opinion, the thing about Demon Slayer is, once again, this is why it's good that I'm making this sort of list using the top and not the tiers, because this is something that I would have put in the great tier. Because even though it is very much a one-trick pony, it is excellent at what it does. This show, I watched this movie on the cinema. This movie is gorgeous, okay? It looks amazing, okay? It is very, very good. It is just candy to my eyes. I will say the soundtrack isn't nearly quite as strong as the visuals are, just something that I noticed. You watch stuff like Chainsaw Man, and you watch other anime that came out this year. I don't think the soundtrack is quite up to the level of the visuals, but either way, that's just a minor nitpick. The thing about Demon Slayer is, especially this movie in particular, I think the pacing was a bit bloated. I think this movie was something like 2 hours and something, I can't quite recall, but I would have said this movie should have been like less than 2 hours. I think it lost itself a bit on the flashbacks, and yes, I know it was like that in the manga, but at some point you sort of have to consider the movie viewing experience for people, and I just have to take points away from that. Also, if we're being honest, the story and characters for this aren't the most complex. This is very much an entry-level shonen. I think it's something that people who are just getting into anime can and should watch. And I think it's definitely a good watch, but it's not something that blew me away besides the visual component. So Demon Slayer, once again, I think I'll put in top 16. I think it's up there. I think it's something that was very good, but once again, stronger on the visual side, but not really impressive in any other way. Now, Ishura, Oh, this is a tough one. This is a tough one, actually, because the thing is, and this is the thing, if you are the cynical type of person that believes that some anime only exist as sort of promotional vehicles for the person to buy the novels, then by all means, Ishura did its job. Just let me get it right here. As you can see, this is Ishura Volume 1. I watched Season 1 and 2 of the anime. I enjoyed it. I decided to buy the novel. I will read it as soon as I have time. So, as far as selling novels go, as far as promoting the source material, that job is done. They got me. So, 10 out of 10, they made it. Now, let's talk about the actual quality of Ishura. Oh, I just spun away. Whoa! Let's talk about the quality of Ishura as an anime. And as an anime, I will say, first of all, it is very much a mediocre adaptation. I think that the visuals are very bland, they're very bad. It is not quite something as terrible as, let's say, early Blue Lock and the current third season of One Punch Man. It is not as bad as that, but I definitely wouldn't say that the visuals are good by any means. Also, let me just try to... Season 2 anime. Let me see if I can get it up. Some images here. But yeah, so they also overuse this sort of weird CGI sometimes, which I don't have an example here. But there's, for example, these worms which come out of the ground. They look so bad, man. They look atrocious. And also, for example, certain assets like swords and stuff, it's sort of like CGI-like. But besides that, the visuals, even though you can see this anime didn't have a lot of budget or a lot of resources allocated to it, it does some good things with the visuals. I like a lot of shots. I like how dark everything is, because this is a very dark world of Ishura, and I like how some shots are presented. I like some of the characters. I think they're highlighted very well. I think some of the character designs are super good, and even if they're super goofy, the entire world of Ishura is super goofy. So it's one of those things where I greatly enjoy the actual story itself and the plot, and I want to see more from it. But as an anime, I can't put it very highly. I think this is... I'll try to put it in top 25 for now. I think it will likely go down to top 30 because I just have to demote some anime at the end, right? But yeah, I greatly enjoy this, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend it to a lot of people. It is very niche. It's just if you like fantasy battle royales and whatnot. And it once again, much like I said about To Be Hero X, Ishura does not follow a set main character, which can leave some viewers a bit dizzy. You sort of have this plethora of characters which are very different from each other, very quirky, very out there, and a lot of them are only featured for like an episode. So you sort of have to keep up with what you can get. And I'm sure that once again in these types of shows the audience always gets more attached to one main character, but it really has a lot of characters, and it just keeps introducing more and more characters, which I know some people don't like, but for me it's fascinating. I think if you're into shows that really value world building and having like a vast cast of characters, I really think you should check this one out. Now, Solo Leveling Season 2. Once again, everything I said about Demon Slayer, I think I can sort of reapply to Solo Leveling. If this was a normal tier list, I would put it into great. I think that the thing about Solo Leveling is that it is incredibly strong at what it does, and what it does is pretty much being a visual spectacle. The story is very much just a dude who goes unga bunga and levels up. The characters are very bland. I couldn't connect emotionally to any of them. The main character pretty much exists as a sort of... how do I even say it? The main character pretty much exists as almost a sort of blank slate for the viewer to project into and to make himself feel good. It is very much something where the main character is not quite as bland to be a self-insert, but actually, I would say that he is very much a self-insert. And this anime looks amazing. It is gorgeous. And the soundtrack, once again, Sawano. But it's just, the story and characters aren't really anything to write home about. I think this is very much a popcorn type anime, as you would say about a popcorn type movie. It is something that you watch, you turn your brain off, you just enjoy the pretty colors and the pretty sounds. And yeah, it's pretty much that. I wouldn't really say this is a deep, compelling storyline. I don't think it's particularly well written. And I think it is very much at its core just wish fulfillment for the depressed young adults, which is fine, by the way. It is fine. That is also a need that needs to be fulfilled in the market, okay? So that's pretty much it for Solo Leveling. I don't think I will demote it just because its visual component is so strong, but I also don't think it deserves top 6. And I don't know if I'll demote it. I think it's fine here. Up next, Ene no Shobotai Season 3, Fire Force Season 3. Oh boy, I don't even know where to put this. The thing about Fire Force is that I will say this is a sort of everything I said about Solo Leveling just sort of inverts now. I think the story is actually very underrated for Fire Force. I think the story is actually, keep in mind, this is a battle shonen, so there's a lot of fighting and the power of friendship and characters just, I will fight for my friends, and sure, whatever. But there's an underlying mystery. I think the world, the setting for Fire Force is actually pretty interesting. It's pretty captivating. And there's an ambulance outside. I hope you guys aren't hearing this once again. Just the scuffed conditions in which we stream. The world, the setting for Fire Force is actually pretty interesting, and it has all of these layers of mystery that are slowly being unfolded, and I just think that's all just so interesting. And the thing that holds back Fire Force, in my opinion, is number one, I think that, how do I say this? People are going to call me you're a tourist, whatever, dude. I think the fan service in this anime is just, it's so jarring, it's distracting. It's just, what are we doing? We will be having two characters in a very serious scene talking to each other, just revealing mysteries, talking about each other's feelings. And for what it's worth, I think Shinra is actually quite a compelling main character. I don't think, yes, he is very much the typical shonen meathead, but he actually has layers and I enjoy him quite a lot. But you will be having these very interesting moments in the series, and then all of a sudden, ass, boobs, right in your face. And wow, damn, I mean, I appreciate it, I guess, but I was trying to watch that other thing that I was very much interested in. You don't need to shove boobs in my face all the time. I don't know. It's almost like this series has a good story cooking, has entertaining battles. For what it's worth, every single character has a fire-based theme, which some of them are very loosely fire-based, like one of the characters can stop time, then that has to do with heat or whatever. Sure, bro, sure. But either way, I think the powers are entertaining, the fights are very good, the mystery, in my opinion, is very, very interesting and something that really captivated me early on, and yet it seems like the series is somehow insecure with itself, where it almost feels the need to once in a while just shove ecchi in your face so that they sort of don't lose the viewer. But I don't think the series needs to have those types of, I don't even know, fan service moments, because they're so unwarranted, they're so out of nowhere. And once again, I'm not against all fan service, it's just that Fire Force does it in the most jarring, needless way that I've ever seen. Either way, in terms of the list, I think that Fire Force is probably middle of the pack. In terms of animation, I will also say it has some moments where like, wow, that was very good. But it also has some moments where you're like, okay, I can see they probably didn't have a lot of animators here, or they didn't have a lot of time left. You can sort of bounce between gorgeous fight scenes and sort of just the PowerPoint where the slides are moving to sort of simulate animation. But yeah, I think it's middle of the pack. It was middling, but it was something I enjoyed watching. Once again, pretty much everything that is on this list I enjoyed watching, so that goes without saying. Up next, Baan. I mean, once again, shout out to fellow YouTuber Gigak. But yeah, realistically speaking, I can't put this super high, right? This goes into top 30. I think it was fun. It was fun. It was something that was definitely revolutionary for its time. And I think people years down the line will remember this and sort of mark this as the first step when fans started being more involved in the industry, and people that are fans of anime actually started having the monetary resources to be able to produce their own anime, which I think is super cool. For what it's worth, I think Baan was good. It was good. It was something I enjoyed watching. I think for the time it had, once again, the soundtrack for this was incredible. The soundtrack by Kevin Penkin, he never misses. This was very, very good. I just think that they had way too much to cram into 18 minutes. Like, how much can I value an 18-minute episode of something that is not already existing. As in, for example, if you had an 18-minute OVA of, let's say, Apothecary Diaries, or I don't know, any anime that you watch, you could do a lot with those 18 minutes, because coming in, the viewer would already know the characters, the settings. You wouldn't need to do all of this exposition. You could just get right into the meaty parts of the story, and you could make it pretty entertaining. Here, the very, very exceedingly tough task that Baan has is that in 18 minutes, it has to do all the exposition, it has to do the introduction, have some sort of compelling development, and have some sort of satisfying conclusion. All in 18 minutes. That is, dare I say, if not impossible, it is incredibly difficult. So for what it is, I think Baan did a good job. You could see at certain moments where they sort of just did montages, which once again, the soundtrack is very good, but you can see that they sort of cut dialogue scenes because there was just no time for it. So once again, just being at the sort of bottom of the list isn't an indictment in any way. I think it was good for what it was, but it's like a very unfair comparison for me to compare an 18-minute project to series in this list that have somehow probably over 100 times the budget, if we're being realistic. I would be very, very curious to compare the budgets, for example, for Baan and for Lord of the Mysteries. I think that people would flip out if they knew the difference, but either way. Up next, let's just get then into the romance. Let's just get into Apothecary Diaries. And Apothecary Diaries, this is actually a tough one. I'm going to tentatively put it in top 6. I think it deserves top 6. I think it was very, very good. It was very, very good. It was so good, in fact, that I think this was the only one. I'm trying to see here. Yeah, I think this was the only anime that I actually watched twice in this list, because I watched it once by myself and once with my wife. So I watched it twice. Apothecary Diaries Season 2 is... I can't spell for some reason. Sometimes when I'm speaking and writing at the same time, my brain just freezes. Must be that disease I have. The disease of not being super smart. Anyway, Apothecary Diaries Season 2. I think that Apothecary Diaries Season 2 was, in a lot of aspects, an upgrade to Season 1. Because the thing is, once again, this goes back to what I just said about Baan. You sort of have to have some time to sort of introduce the setting and characters. And I think Season 1 took care of a lot of that. And Season 2 just pretty much took the foundation that was already built by Season 1 and just sort of took it a lot of steps further. The thing about Apothecary Diaries is that it, in its nature, overall, it is very much an episodic series where every episode you have this sort of mystery that Mao Mao solves, and by the end of the season you end up realizing that perhaps all of the mysteries were connected, and there's this shadowy scheme happening in the castle. And in Season 2 they pretty much took it a lot of steps further, and they sort of culminated a lot of events, even going all the way back to Season 1, and the final arc for this one was super, super good. I enjoyed it very, very much. Once again, I always like to make this sort of comparison between, this sort of contrast between Apothecary Diaries and Solo Leveling, because I think back when I did just my usual tier lists with the tiers, I always put both into great, and this is very jarring to some people, and I understand why, but they are great for completely opposite reasons. Solo Leveling is very much the Unga Bunga visuals focused type of show that the story doesn't really captivate me, whereas Apothecary Diaries is the exact opposite. I think this series, you can clearly see it is an adaptation from a book, from a light novel, because the series is very verbose, very monologue and dialogue intensive. There's a lot of talking, but it's just so interesting. I'm always so engrossed in watching this that I can't help but put it super high up on the list. It is just super, super good to me. I will also say, despite the fact that Apothecary Diaries does not have the most, how will I say, it doesn't have the highest quality animation. It can't compare to something like To Be Hero X, to something like Demon Slayer or Solo Leveling, but I will say, for the moments that it chooses to do, I think the visuals can be incredibly pretty. Even if you can see that the animation isn't super splendid, the visuals can be incredibly pretty, and the character designs, most of them, because they're supposed to be pretty women, they are gorgeous, and pretty men as well. And yeah, I think it does a lot with the resources that it has in terms of visuals, and the story is just incredible. And once again, I will say Mao Mao is one of the best main characters of all time. I'm just going to say that. She is just perfect. Okay, up next, Sakamoto Days. And I might as well just rate both seasons. So, So I might demote him in the future, but Sakamoto Days Season 1 goes into top 25, and Sakamoto Days Season 2 goes into top 16. Sakamoto Days is very fun. It is once again the sort of Unga Bunga type of anime where there's a lot of fighting, but Sakamoto Days is much more comedy tilted, so it's supposed to be funny, and it is incredibly funny at some points. I will say the major difference between the two seasons is just the production value. I thought that season 2 was just overall better animated. It felt less bland. The visuals for season 1 could at times, especially for an action series, feel a bit I don't know, just boring visuals. And meanwhile, I think season 2 greatly stepped it up. It is once again not in the level of Solo Leveling or Demon Slayer or whatever, but I thought it was a noticeable improvement that I greatly enjoyed watching. Would I recommend Sakamoto Days to anyone that has not watched it yet? I would say yes, if this is the type of show that you're into. So if you're into action, if you're into comedy, I think that you should try and give Sakamoto Days a watch. The world is very much nonsensical, where there's just these assassins roaming around and just causing all sorts of trouble, but there's no police, there's no military, it sort of works. People just ignore what's happening, which is always super funny. But I think the main character and the main crew are super funny. I think the comedy really works. It lands well, especially if you're into more sort of slapstick type of comedy where there's a lot of physical comedy, where a character does something so ridiculous that it has a physical effect on the environment and on the opponent. If you're into that type of comedy, then I think you will enjoy Sakamoto Days. Once again, the early episodes can be a bit rough in terms of animation, and I think you can already see the difference in both openings. If you go watch the opening for both of the seasons, you will see that the second opening is much more energetic, much more fluid, and much more fun overall. So yeah, I would definitely recommend, if you're into that type of show, Sakamoto Days, but I do think that season 2 was better, and the legend says that season 3 will be even better, so let's hope for that. Inko, what's up, my man? Did you watch One Punch Man Season 3? No, I did not. I did not subject myself to that torture. I talked about this in the previous tier list for fall, but One Punch Man, let's find Season 2. So I was just way early on you guys. Season 2, I just dropped it because I just thought that compared to Season 1 and compared to the manga, which I'm a fan of and I've been reading for some years now, I just thought that Season 2 was just not up to par. I thought it was very, very mediocre and just not overall. If you compare it with Season 1, it's so poorly animated that I just don't even feel like watching it. And so Season 2, I just thought it was bad already. And then once we go into Season 3, which is even worse, I just have no will to watch it. I just don't care about it. I know that a lot of, especially content creators, really made this sort of feast on just making fun of One Punch Man and all that, and that seems fun, but once again, the only anime that I will ever sort of hate watch is Shield Hero, because I think the story and writing are legitimately pathetic. The thing about One Punch Man is I'm a fan of the manga, I'm a fan of the series, so I couldn't even hate watch this because I don't have any hatred for it. It's just sad. It's just depressing to see what have they done to my boy? Why have they massacred my boy like this? Well, what is happening? But yeah, I'm a fan of the manga. I would definitely recommend the manga to anyone who is a fan of One Punch Man. I don't know why the author just keeps, for some reason, redoing old chapters. He's just never satisfied with it. That can be sort of a bit confusing to keep track. What is the actual canon chapter? But yeah, besides that, I think the manga is excellent and the anime is a travesty, and you can see that there were a lot of things that went bad behind the scenes, from production to scheduling to budgeting. I think, once again, my opinion, okay, if you don't like Season 3, if you think Season 3 is putrid and super bad, sure, you are entitled to your opinion. if you attack animators and staff and, you know, just individual people, many of which are probably, let's be real, on minimum wage and working 20 hours a day to get, yes, this very sloppy product, but this product that they delivered nonetheless, if you attack animators, I'm sorry, you're just cringe. I'm just going to come out and say it. It's just super cringe. It's just super loser behavior to be attacking people on Twitter and going after them and whatnot. Can we please, if you want to direct your justified, I will say justified rage for what they did to One Punch Man Season 3, please direct it at the big companies, at the greedy people who under-budgeted and understaffed this. Do not go after the poor individual people that probably did their best with the time and resources that they had, okay? I'll just say that. OZWS, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I think this is a common sense take, no? This is the common sense take, but it's just, I see especially so many content creators going after like the animators and stuff. It's like, bro, I don't even know what you can put. If you give Gordon Ramsay 2 peas in 5 minutes and say, hey man, make a delicious dish, Gordon Ramsay will not make you a delicious dish because it's just simply impossible with the resources and time that he has. Am I saying that all of the animators that worked on One Punch Man Season 3 are the Gordon Ramsay equivalent of animation? Probably not. I'm not saying that, but all I'm saying is you can clearly see there were a lot of things wrong with this project, and to just sort of be poking and targeting and attacking individual animators, many of which are in very, you know, let's be honest, probably not super good conditions, it's just super cringe to me. It's just a super just bad behavior. Like, what has social media come to? Anyway, I feel bad for the animators because of people. Yeah, man, I feel super bad as well. And the thing is, imagine you're like an animator and you just always had a passion for the industry, and imagine that you are just desperate for work. You're trying to maybe intern at some place, even if it's poorly paid or not paid at all, and they say, hey man, do you want to work on One Punch Man Season 3? And you're an animator, you're just eager for a job, you're like, yeah, sure, and then you're just dragged into this whole crap train, and you're just dragged through the mud, and maybe now your name is sort of blacklisted from the industry, even though you didn't really do anything wrong. I don't know, man. I have way too much empathy for like people that work sucky jobs to ever like feel true hatred and rage at One Punch Man Season 3. Once again, if you want to rage at somebody, then please rage at the big corporations. Don't rage at individual animators on Twitter, you lunatics. Either way, rant over. Now, Lazarus. Let's move on to Lazarus. I don't even know how to rate this, to be honest. The thing about Lazarus is, it was made, Lazarus, once again I can't spell. The thing about Lazarus is that it was once again made by the same creator of Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo, but Lazarus seems, the best way I can put it is, Lazarus seems like a fan of Cowboy Bebop made a sort of their own rendition of Cowboy Bebop, but they sort of didn't really understand why Cowboy Bebop worked. So, hey, Holo Simp, welcome to Mercenary. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the subscription. Thank you so much, my guy. Please type a message also to see if the members get blue on the screen, because I was fiddling with the CSS yesterday during the night. But I think your messages of members are supposed to be blue, but I don't know if that's actually working. Either way. But thank you so much, my man. Back to Lazarus. Lazarus seems like it was made by a fan of Cowboy Bebop that truly didn't understand or truly couldn't capture the core of what made Cowboy Bebop good. And that's the best way I can put it. The fact this was made by the same author just makes me think that he lost his touch, or there were some other problems behind the scenes. I don't know. I thought this entire season was once again the thing of it was very well animated. Visually speaking, this is a very engaging series. I think it is super, super good. Oh, by the way, I'm in... Okay. Yeah, yeah, sorry. I was in top chat instead of live chat. I don't know why this is a default. I couldn't quite see all of your messages, guys. I apologize, but I think we're up now. We're up. So if any of you guys said any swear words or words that YouTube deems to be bad, then I didn't see it. Okay. Back to Lazarus. I keep distracting myself. Lazarus, visually speaking, was very good. It had a lot of cool moments of animation and parkour where you're like, damn, this is some good stuff. And the main character, Lazarus, I should probably put anime. Lazarus is a biblical thing, right? And it had some very good fight scenes. There's this fight scene, for example, which is super unrealistic and has some goofy moments of realism, but still it is super engaging and action-packed, where these two dudes are fighting on top of a train, and it is super, super cool. And it's just, overall, the visuals for this are very, very good. It has some very good moments. The soundtrack, from what I remember, is also very, very well made. I enjoyed the soundtrack, but it's just, the characters, the main cast is sort of very much the very old style over substance. They're cool, they look cool, they do cool things, but there's not a lot there. There's not a lot of chemistry between the cast, I feel. This series, I think, is very, very fast-paced. They have sort of like, if it's 13 episodes, then they have sort of like 10 mini adventures that are not super connected with one another. I think that each sort of adventure, each sort of mini story arc, instead of being just an episode, should have been 2 or 3 episodes, but you could flesh out the characters and their relationships more. I think this show, I think it has 13 episodes. Let me confirm that. Yeah, it has 13 episodes. I think if it had 26, it would probably be better in every single way. 26, 24, I think Lazarus needed more time to cook, and it felt just super undercooked, super rushed, and it felt very much like style over substance, be it in presentation and in characters, which is a shame because I actually quite like Lazarus. I liked the premise. I thought the premise was very cool, just not delivered in a super good way. I think either top 25 or top 30. I will be honest, probably top 30 if I'm being totally honest. It's just, I think it's probably going to get promoted because there are some other anime I'll probably put in top 30, but let's see. Now let's check out you guys. For some reason the chat is still in top. I don't have time to fix that right now, but I will just show you the chat right here. Hi, I have already put in a few messages, though they weren't much seen. They aren't appearing on screen. Yeah, they aren't appearing on screen. I have to try and solve this bug. So I'm using, for those who are sort of more techie, I guess, I'm using the chat source from OBS, and I'm supposedly hard coding it to use live chat, but instead of live chat, it is using top chat, which I don't know why, and it drives me insane. And I try to check it multiple times. This should give me the live chat, but instead it's using the top chat, which censors some messages. I don't know why. I think it has to do with, number one, profanity and insults, and number two, I think if your account is newer and you're more recent to YouTube, I think they may filter your messages. I apologize for that. So once in a while, I'll just put the chat on screen. I'll make this bigger. I'll just put, actually you're seeing chat on top of chat, right? Sorry guys, with the overlay it may get confusing. I'll put the chat here. I feel like the characters were very shallow and underdeveloped. Yeah, I totally agree, Inko. What's up, Leon? Do you think No Game No Life can return with season 2? This is my reaction, my man. This is my reaction to No Game No Life season 2. Listen, I would love for it to be No Game No Life season 2. I just fundamentally, at this point, it's just, how many years has it been? How many years? No Game No Life. 2014. It's been 11 years. It's been 12 years. We're in 2026. That's crazy. It's been 12 years, my man. At this point, listen, I don't want to say that it's too late for grandma, but my guy, listen, I hate to be the one, but it's too late for grandma. You have to let it go, my man. You have to let it go. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. You have to let it go. Listen, realistically speaking, I think it is never impossible. For example, we had the Shaman King reboot, what was it? Almost 20 years? Almost 20 years after the original. Let me just check that. Shaman King. This is 2021. Yeah, so we had a Shaman King reboot 20 years after the original, which is not a super good message, by the way, because the reboot sucked. But but anyway, I'm trying to be positive. But we had reboots after a long time. I think the most successful one is probably Spice and Wolf, which, let's see, the original one was in 2009, and the reboot came out in 2024. So that's 15 years later. So that's also a lot, and I think the reboot was very well done. The difference is, with Spice and Wolf had an ongoing light novel which lasted for many years. What do you mean? It's still not over? What? I think this is probably wrong. I'm pretty sure Spice and Wolf is over. Spice and Wolf. I'm pretty sure Spice and Wolf is over. What? Light novel present. It's not over yet. That's crazy. That is actually that is nuts. That is nuts. That is insane. Okay, so I'm even more right with what I'm saying now. The thing is, Spice and Wolf had, from what I understand, a very healthy in terms of sales light novel that kept going all these years. The No Game No Life light novel, from what I know, has been sort of just in hiatus for many, many years now. And even if they wanted to adapt the rest of the light novel from the point that they left it in the anime, I don't think there would be much more to adapt. So once again, man, I just think it's time to let it go. Once again, I would love to be proven wrong. But unless the light novel comes back and sort of makes a splash in sales, I just don't think it's ever coming back. It's the same thing with High School of the Dead, although that one is even worse because the author died. A lot of people say, when is High School of the Dead season 2? And it's like, well, buddy, it's probably never coming. I hate to say it. It's probably never coming. At this point, No Game No Life return would be too late. I mean, I don't know about too late. Once again, I just gave you the examples of Shaman King 20 years later, Spice and Wolf 15 years later. I don't think it's ever too late. I think, especially because as a lot of anime watchers like myself sort of become adults and become older, we have just sort of bigger attention spans, and we can just sort of get into a series that are older and that have been sort of more distant in time. But it's not so much that it would be too late. It's just that I don't think there's the material there. There's not enough source material, and there's just not enough sales interest for it to really do anything, you know? I just don't think there's a market need currently for No Game No Life Season 2. I think if the author ever came back, started writing again, made some light novels, that's probably the best way to do it. Speaking of disappointing adaptations, not No Game No Life. No Game No Life, by the way, I just want to say this. No Game No Life was one of those shows where, once again, the animation was not the best in terms of quality, in terms of, for example, comparing it once again with Demon Slayer, Soul Leveling, all that. But I just love the color palette and what they did with the presentation in general. This was just such a colorful and visually striking anime, even if the animation wasn't always a 10 out of 10. So just something that I enjoyed a lot, and just wanted to point that out. Either way, enough with anime that have been over and are never coming back. Ranger Reject, Season 2. It has to go into top 30. I'm sorry, my man. Ranger Reject, this is another one of those cases where I think the source material is good. The story interests me. The characters are compelling. There's a lot here that interests me. And if I have time, I will definitely one day read the manga. But it's just, man, the adaptation is not good. It's just not good. I mean, the animation sucks. It is very much the sort of slides just sliding around and very little movement, and the animation sucks. The pacing sucks. They burn through pages of the manga like they're just burning through, I don't even know what, like a forest fire. They're just blazing through it. They adapted however many volumes in so few episodes. This season had 13 episodes as well, and I don't know, I think this was super rushed. It's this one. It was super rushed. It was not visually appealing at all. But despite all of that, I can see, even though the story is just being rushed through, I can see there's some very good stuff here. I think the story is good. The characters are good. It's just, it was just a mediocre adaptation, and it is what it is. I will one day read the manga. One day. But for now, I have to put it in top 30. I just don't see it. I just don't see it any higher than that because it was just very mediocre as an anime. This also means that if I put this into top 30, then we are locked for top 30 because it's only 5 anime. So let's see if we promote something from top 30. Now, up next, Vigilantes. My Hero Academia Vigilantes Season 2 is currently coming out. I think fans of My Hero are without a doubt blessed. They're very spoiled because they had Vigilantes, which was a banger. I think, once again, this My Anime List score is lower than I would give it. I think Vigilantes was very, very good. Then they had My Hero Academia, the final season, which was an absolute banger. And now we just have Vigilante. After they didn't even, the My Hero Academia fans didn't even have time to mourn that My Hero is over because now we have Vigilante Season 2. That is just insane. But either way, Vigilante Season 1. And, oh wow, HoZWS, thank you so much for the subscription, my man. Welcome tonight. Welcome. You subscribe tonight, which means that now your name will always be at the end of the videos. I hope you are comfortable with that. I don't see why you wouldn't, but but yeah, thank you so much for the subscription, my man. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Liar Game anime is coming soon too. Okay, let me just talk about Liar Game in a second. Now, for Vigilante, I thought this anime was, if anything, very underrated. I greatly enjoyed this. I think this was very, very good. Very, very good. I would even say that the thing about My Hero is that, in my opinion, the My Hero sort of does this, and then throughout the middle it sort of dips, and then sort of picks up right at the end. I think this series, you could argue that the Vigilante Season 1 is better than the middling seasons of My Hero Academia. I think that's something you can say. And once again, in terms of scope, this is more sort of street level heroes, which I know is a big meme in the My Hero community, but this is sort of street level heroes. I would say that to make sort of a Marvel comparison that everyone can probably understand, My Hero Academia is the Avengers, while Vigilantes is sort of Daredevil or Spider-Man, you know, it's just more local. I don't know, I think Vigilantes, the characters are super fun, the interaction of the main trio is super fun. Yes, I am a fan of Gintama, so I just love main trios, it's just something that just pops me, but either way, I think the characters are super fun. The story is not the best, but is very serviceable for what it's trying to do. It has some very, very good emotional moments. I think Koichi is a tremendous main character. I'm just, honestly, I'm going to tentatively put it in top 6. This may be, I may be overrating it. Let's see how this pans out, but I am going to tentatively put it in top 6 because I just liked it. I just liked it so much. I thought if anything, it was very underrated. I think people really underestimated Vigilantes for it being a spin-off or for it being related to My Hero or whatever. I thought it was very good. Very, very good. Okay, now I'll just put the chat on screen since we're having top chat. Oh, okay, nice, nice. I confirmed it on stream that the members do get a different color. So yes, my session late until 1 in the morning just trying to do CSS for the live stream was worth it. Nice. Okay. Now just taking a look at your guys' chats. Liar Game anime is coming soon. Yeah, Liar Game, that's actually something funny. If I go to how do I do that? Manga list, plan to read. Do not pay too much attention to this. Okay, Liar Game is on my plan to read for a long time because I've heard very, very good things about this, and I thought this was fun. I don't have a lot of time to read manga. Unfortunately, it's just anime is just more digestible. However, and anyway you put it, the thing is, it's faster to read manga, but it's just more convenient to be having lunch watching anime, if you get my drift. So I don't have a lot of time to read manga, but this has been in my plan to read list for a long, long time. I've heard very good things about this. I know it's somewhat of a cult hit, as in it is not super popular, even though the numbers seem to say otherwise. I from what I've heard, I don't think it's super popular, but I think the people that did read it love it very much. And yeah, I just think I'm excited for the anime adaptation. Liar Game. Yeah, once again, I think they tried to sort of emulate the style of the manga. I am not super convinced by these sort of, I don't even know what they look like. These sort of compressed character designs where the faces look like they've been sort of messed with the brush tool in Photoshop, if you know what I mean. The liquidify tool, I think that's the one. I'm not a huge fan of these character designs, but either way, I'm going off just one single artwork, right? That's a bit unfair. But yeah, I'm hyped for Liar Game as well. And it's coming out in the same season, I believe, that Rezero is also coming out. So that's going to be a good one. That's going to be a good one. Oh, also Akane Banashi. I've also heard very good things about this. Either way, where's the chat? I lost you guys. Thank you, man. Much love. You're welcome, my man. Thank you as well. Yeah, I mean, if it has Leon, if it has a smart main character, then I'm all for it. I love smart main characters. Especially, the thing is, allow me to just do a bit of a short rant, but I like when characters that are actually smart, as in they have thought processes which impress me. I don't like when main characters who are supposed to be smart, the only reason why they're smart is because they just have this sort of almost omniscient information gathering that it's very clear that the author can't really write a smart person and he just writes somebody that always wins and always figures everything out. There's a difference between the two. And writing an actually intelligent, impressive character is very, very difficult, but when done well, mwah, oh my goodness, it is so good and so rewarding. Inco 10, what is up with their chins? Yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know, like, once again, I'm hyped because people told me the story for this is very good, but we all have to admit, this is some goofy character designs. These character designs are goofy, man, I'm not gonna lie. And once again, and once again, it's the thing where I've watched anime, much like I said in this list, for example, I watched Ranger Reject, I watched Ishura, anime that, in my opinion, are not super well animated or are, let's say, be honest, mediocre adaptations, but I still enjoy the story and characters. I can see myself doing the same thing with Liar Game. If the story is truly that much of a banger, I will watch it for sure, regardless of my discontent with these faces, whatever they are. I wish them well. Maybe it's just a goofy artwork. We can judge an entire series off of one artwork. Maybe it's going to be good. Let's hope it is good. OZWS, I presume top 1 is going to be Chainsaw Man movie. Ah, come on, man. You can't give out spoilers. Come on. I'll be totally honest. As I am making this live, I've been live for, how much longer have I been live for? For some reason, it won't show me the total time. Either way, it doesn't matter. I still haven't decided. I'll be honest, but it's I don't know. Let's get there when we get there. Let's get there when we get there. Up next, the summer Hikaru died, aka the gays in the forest. And I say this in the most flattering way possible. Okay, I will tell you right now. Hikaru died. I will tell you right now. If you told me that I would end my year watching a terror horror yaoi, I would tell you that seems very strange, but I can see myself doing that. And it is what I did. It is what I did. Summer Hikaru died. This was the only leftover, the only thing left in the year, like I said at the beginning of the stream, that a lot of people told me it was good, you have to watch it. And so I decided, okay, screw it, let's just binge watch it. And so I binged this last week, and it was very good. I greatly enjoy this. Once again, horror, mystery, supernatural. It also has a bit of a yaoi theme. I don't know why it's not here in the genres, but either way, I enjoy this. It is definitely not my cup of tea in terms of I don't really watch things usually in this genre. I don't super care for yaoi. I don't super care for horror. But this was good. This was very engrossing. I think the thing about the Summer Hikaru died is that they do an excellent job with the visuals, and the overall direction of the anime is very, very good. The mix, a lot of the things, let's just put it this way. A lot of the things in the Summer Hikaru died are not actually scary, as in they would not scare you in a vacuum. It's just freaky monsters like this doing sort of like freaky things. This isn't scary by itself, but with the music and the darker color palette and the overall vibe and spooky atmosphere, a lot of this becomes very, very engaging. And for people that like the sort of spookier horror theme, I think it is very, very well done. Once again, this is not my usual cup of tea at all, but I think it is very, very good. Also, for what it's worth, the gay romance, I think the gay romance is, once again, in my very limited experience watching these type of shows, I think it is very well done. I think you can see the main character is very much, the best way I can put it is this. The main character is very much a sort of introverted, closeted, very awkward person that deeply cares about the people that he loves, and he has a lot of trouble expressing that. But he is introverted in a way that is realistic and engaging for the viewer, because we have some characters which are introverted, which sort of comes down to just bland and they don't talk much. For example, the best example of this is Miyu from My Happy Marriage. She's also very shy and introverted, but at some point she's just bland. She just doesn't say much. She doesn't have much of a personality. She's not a very captivating main character. Whereas the main character for Hikaru, what's his name? I keep forgetting. It's Hikaru and it's Yoshiki. I very much enjoy Yoshiki. He has a lot of, let's say, moral dilemmas throughout the story, which make me see things from his perspective. Even if I don't agree with everything that he does, I think it's always entertaining to watch. And that is the best thing that I could possibly say about this series. I think it is very well written, very, very well directed. It's either top 6 or top 16. Top 6 or top 16. Once again, guys, I am very, very biased towards certain genres, so I'm going to tentatively put it in top 16 just because I have to make room for other anime, which I know I'll want to put in here. But yeah, this was very, very good. This was very, very good. Especially if you're into those types of shows, I think you'll really enjoy this. Number 1 better be My Hero Academia's final season. Well, Azur, I don't want to disappoint you, my man, but without giving away too many spoilers, it's probably not going to be that one. It's probably not going to be that one. But I greatly enjoyed My Hero. I'll get to My Hero in a bit. Hold up. Now, Cinderella Grey. Cinderella Grey, I'm just thinking if I actually separate the seasons. Yeah. Okay, so I will put, where is it? I will put Cinderella Grey Season 2 in top 16. And Cinderella, actually, let's tentatively put both of them in top 16 and then we'll see from there. Cinderella Grey was an absolute banger, okay? It was just incredibly good. And I was very, very hesitant to start this because this is Uma Musume. I've never played the game. I know nothing about the lore. I know nothing about the memes. This is a spin-off. This is a prequel or whatever. I thought this was going to be something that was very much going to be for the fans of Uma Musume and for them only. And it is not. It is something that someone like me with no context can just come in and have a lot of fun. I thought this was tremendous. This is probably the best sports anime I watched this year. Hold up, let me check if I'm not saying any lies. Yeah, I mean, I only really watched this in the 100 meters, right? Both about running. I'll get to 100 meters in a bit, by the way. I have a lot to say about that. Maybe I'll make a separate video. But yeah, Uma Musume to me is the sports anime of the year. It was very, very good. Once again, yes, guys, the premise of girls that are horses or horses that are girls or whatever, the premise is very goofy, okay? But the thing is, despite the premise being goofy, the anime treats itself seriously. This is closer, I made this comparison in my previous live stream. This is closer to Haikyuu than it is to Kuroko no Basket, as in the races are realistic for what they are, especially because they're based off of real life results, so there's not really a lot of magic or the power of friendship going on. It's just pure racing and it's fast paced. You have a lot of races, the character dynamics are very interesting. Our main protagonist, she's not super, how do I say it, she's not super smart like for example Mao Mao is, but she's charming in her own way. She's very charming in her own way. She's a sort of female version of the shonen meathead, but in a good way. I say that in the best way possible. And she has her own like layers too. I think just her relationship with her mother, her relationship with her rivals, the way she sees racing itself, it's super, super good. And if anything, Cinderella Grey Part 2 was even better because the stakes felt even higher, the races were even more hyped, and we had this sort of long-running rivalry between the two main racers, which was just super cool. So even if you are not a fan of Uma Musume like I am not, I will not give Cygames my life savings, okay guys? I will not throw it all away on gacha games, but if you are a fan at all of shonen or especially sports anime, I think you will greatly enjoy this. Uma Musume is very, very good. Do not underestimate Uma Musume, okay? Do not sleep on it. It is very, very good. Now, let's check out the chat. Silly YouTube, stop hiding my messages from the stream. Yeah, I know, man. I will try off stream to see if I can somehow hack that link so that I can force it to do the live chat instead of the top chat. I don't know why it's doing that. Because once again, let me show you guys. I got this source. It should be live chat. I have it here. It should be the live chat. Why is it showing the top chat? Either way, it's probably to prevent profanity from appearing on stream, even if one of you guys is super fast at typing or whatever. But even then, I don't know. It's kind of goofy. Horse. Yes, there's a lot of horses. There's a lot of horses. Has a massive fan base because of the game too. Yeah, and I think that was the super cool thing where I was initially actually drawn away from watching Uma Musume because of the massive fan base. But then I watched it anyways because people told me it was good. A lot of you guys recommended to me in my comment section, I think it was the fall preview. You guys said, Uma Musume is very good, it's legit, you have to go watch it. And I did. And despite the massive fan base, I think this is super good. Even for people that are not fans of Uma Musume. Once again, I have zero free time and zero desire to go play the game, okay? It's just, I don't know if this offends any fans of Uma Musume, but it is what it is. I just have no time and no desire to play Uma Musume. The very little gaming time that I do have, it's like 5 minutes per day, and I just play Pokemon Pocket. I open 2 booster packs, I close the app, that's it. That's my gaming time. So I will not play the Uma Musume game, but the anime, oh man, the anime is so good. And the animation is also so good, and the soundtrack, my goodness, it is just so good. Honestly, if you enjoy shonen at all, sports anime, go watch Uma Musume. Oguri Cap, my beloved goat. Yeah, Oguri Cap is such a good main character. Because the thing is, Oguri Cap shows that you don't need necessarily to have someone who's super quirky or intelligent. Like, once again, I'm thinking of Mao Mao off the top of my head right now. But you can have someone who's a bit more introverted, that keeps a lot to themselves, but is still a very interesting, compelling, and just fun main character to watch. I'm gonna say simp. Yeah, I don't know. It's not filtering simp. I don't know, Holo Simp, why it's filtering you in particular. That is super goofy. That is actually super strange. Why is it filtering you? Do you have... Is your account like recent? That is super strange. That is just super strange. I'm trying to click on your... Hold up. What? Can I click on your account? Go to channel. Allow me to lurk a little bit over here. Yeah, so you have your account ever since 2019, so it shouldn't be any problems there. I don't understand, man. I'm so sorry. I'll try to fix the hyperlink on the next stream, but I don't know what's happening, really. I'll watch it now. Didn't know it was a prequel. Yeah, Azure Spoon, that was also one of the things that turned me off, was that it was a prequel. But really, I guess... If you know the lore of Uma Musume, I guess you kind of know the characters they're referring to. But to me, I watched it, no problems. I didn't have any trouble understanding anything. I think they do a great job at making this a sort of stepping stone for people to get into the franchise. So yeah, I definitely recommend it there. Okay, up next, Lord of the Mysteries. And for those of you who have watched my previous tier lists, you know there are realistically only 2 spots where this is going. This is either going into top 1 or top 6. And I thought about it. I ruminated in my mind. And I can put it into top 1. I'll explain why in a bit. It's in top 6. Lord of the Mysteries. Also, for those of you who came in later, yes, guys, this is a donghua. This is not an anime, okay? We're doing both at the same time. Come on. Let's focus. Lord of the Mysteries is mysteries. I don't know why they put the Chinese name as the main one, but whatever. Lord of the Mysteries is incredible. 13 episodes of just pure visual spectacle, gorgeous animation, gorgeous visuals. Lord of the Mysteries anime. Should I say donghua? Donghua. The visuals for this are gorgeous. They are incredible. I just love it so much. You're always in this sort of dark, spooky town where the moon is red, but everything just flows so well. It looks so good. I love this, and I have a lot of things to say about it. The first one is, I think that this series, it has a very cool main character. I enjoy the main character a lot. I think it has incredibly complex, rich, and very interesting lore. The world for this is vast, and it just draws you in and gets you to want to know more. But it is that same world that, in my opinion, coupled with less than stellar pace for the initial episodes, that, in my opinion, hold it back from truly being top one. I think that Lord of the Mysteries had these things where, let's see if they show here. Yeah. So, Lord of the Mysteries had these extra episodes, the Chibi Theater, and these are the Old Neil's... No, it's not this one. Whatever. It had some sort of like extra OVAs where it's just old Neil's mysticism lessons. I think that's it, the name. And it's just extra content that they put out because the initial episodes were just so overwhelming because they wanted to rush the initial episodes to get to a certain point in the story, which you can argue if it was a good or bad decision. Personally, I think it was a bad decision. But I only really started to get more into Lord of the Mysteries once I was around episode 4 or 5, and once I started doing my own research, checking some things on the wiki, trying not to spoil anything for future events, checking some things on the wiki, watching those extra content, the old man mysticism lessons or whatever, to get to know more about the lore, because they throw a lot at you. And it can be very hard to understand everything. It can be very overwhelming. I know friends that started watching this. They said it was super confusing. I didn't understand anything. I just dropped it. And I'm like, I understand it. Honestly, I understand it. I think you're missing out, but I understand it perfectly. So Lord of the Mysteries, in my opinion, is very, very good. I enjoyed it a lot. It is one of my favorite anime of the year. Donghua. This is one of my favorite donghua of the year. Animated series of the year, let's just put it that way. But I, with my hand in my heart, I can put it in top 1 because it just has some things holding it back. Now, Windbreaker, Season 2. Windbreaker, once again, do I have 10 here? I don't. I'll put it in the mid. I think it's a good upper middling anime. Top 16. Yeah, this should be 10 slots. Okay. Windbreaker Season 2 is very much the Unga Bunga sort of show where you have a lot of characters fighting. Windbreaker, it's just teenagers brawling on the street. Just dudes banging meat, just hitting each other hard. And it's incredible. It's incredible to watch. It's super, super fun. The animation is very, very good. And it is this sort of old school. I don't want to say old school. It's just more this sort of up close, just frenetic, just more intimate animation. Instead of having, for example, in Solo Leveling, where you have the fight between Jinwoo and the sort of the Ant King or whatever, where it's just lights flying all over the place and super fast paced, and whereas in Demon Slayer, for example, where you have the breathing styles, where you have the waves and the fire just going through the screen, in Windbreaker, it's just two dudes by themselves banging meat, and it is glorious. And it is certainly a different type of animation. It is not as flashy, not as visually breathtaking as perhaps the series I just mentioned, but to me, I love this. And I think that if a series took the style of animation that Windbreaker has and coupled it with a more interesting main character and a more interesting story, let's just be honest here, I think it could really take the world by storm. It would certainly take my heart because I love these sort of like almost old school kung fu type of shows where it's just dudes fighting in backyards and back alleys, and it's just so cool to me. But yeah, the things that hold Windbreaker back are precisely everything that is not the action. I think the action is tremendous, but besides that, I think I just fundamentally don't really like the main character. He's this sort of tsundere, very shy dude that has trouble expressing his feelings. And I've just seen that trope so many times already in shonen anime, and I don't think it's particularly well done here. And the story is just it's okay. It's okay. It's just the story is just constant pretexts for dudes to fight on the street. That's just pretty much the story, as best as I can summarize it. And yeah, I don't know. It's cool. It's cool. If you want to watch something where you just turn your brain off and you just want to see some dudes brawling, by all means, go watch Windbreaker. If you have higher parameters for yourself, if you want to watch something that has more engrossing writing, something that is more thought-provoking, then Windbreaker is definitely not the anime for you. Okay. Oh, and guys, I'm just going to... I hate to like beg, but I'm just going to ask if some of you guys can like the stream. Oh, okay. Actually, I just refreshed my stream. Nice, nice, nice. A lot of you guys have liked it. Thank you so much. So that we can hopefully share the stream and make it grow bigger. Always bigger. Always growing and becoming bigger and more bloated and more nefarious. That sounds like a bad thing. But yeah, this isn't a stream. This is a movement. Just kidding, guys. Inko, do you think 2026 anime will be better than 2025? I mean, I think it can be. Honestly speaking, I think this year was very, very strong. I want maybe at the end of the stream, I can take a look at my 2024 tier list. I think from what I remember, I think this year was probably better than 2024. Will 2026 be even better? I mean, there's a chance, right? I mean, ReZero Season 4, if you're a fan of ReZero, you know that arc is going to bang. There's a lot of strong anime coming. Even just yesterday, I watched Sentenced to be a Hero, which was very much a visual spectacle. It was super, super good. I think there's a lot of bangers incoming. This next season will be a banger. I think the spring season of 2026 will also be a banger. Just a ton of bangers. I think this is a very good sign. I think anime sort of around 2020, maybe because of COVID times and whatnot, I think there was a sort of rough period around that time, but now it's ramping up. These years are super good. And if you guys want, I'll make a comparison with 2024 at the end. And 1 year from now, in 2026, we can sort of retrospect once again and make sure what the best year was. But yeah, I think currently there was a time where there was nothing to watch. And currently, I think that you are spoiled for choice, especially if you're someone that doesn't really watch the seasonal anime. You just sort of wait for the seasons to be over or for the year to be over to sort of catch up on whatever thing catches your eye. Then I think you're just spoiled for choice. This year has had so many good shows. It's insane. I'm an early liker. Thank you so much, Azure Spoon. I paid my taxes, sir, by liking the stream. Thank you so much, M. Jundar. Thank you so much. You have paid your taxes. Freerun Season 2. Yeah, also Freerun Season 2. It's insane, bro. 2026 is going to be an absolute banger. It's going to be so, so good. I'm just going to put the chat on stream because Holo Simp is being censored. The YouTube is after Holo Simp. Come on, man. Why are you doing that? Anime has been so fire lately. I cannot put into words how unbelievably hyped I am for ReZero Season 4. I totally agree. And I think, for better or for worse, I think a lot of ReZero fans, just allow me to have this small tangent. ReZero fans are very much neurotic by nature. It's almost like they sort of can connect with the main character on a spiritual level. They're very neurotic, they're very pessimistic, but I think looking back, was Season 3 perfect? No. Did it cut some things? Yes. Did it make some moves that pissed me off? Certainly. But was it a good season? I think so. I think it was a good season. I think it was a good adaptation. It did a lot of things right. And once again, I think in many ways, a lot of ReZero fans are almost spoiled because they don't know what a truly bad adaptation is. And they hold sort of perfection as the standard. And if you hold perfection as the standard, then I'm sorry to say you'll probably never reach it. And I think for what it's worth, I think Season 3 was good. I enjoyed Season 3, even though I recognize it was not the perfect adaptation. Season 4, I think if they do it right, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing, guys, okay? I'm more worried for Wallachia than I am for Season 4. I am totally chill when it comes to Season 4. My heart is at peace. I saw what they did for season 3. They gave it time. They didn't rush it. They waited a year. My heart is at peace. I am hopeful. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be good. Um, Speaking of ReZero, is light novel better or web novel? So that's I will sort of try to give a nuanced take to your answer, to your question, I mean. So the light novel is supposedly the finished, trimmed down version of the web novel. The web novel is supposed to be the rough draft. Having said that, if you are right now on my chat, you are probably an English speaker, which means that the only thing, if you want the official English translation, the only thing that will be available to you is the Yen Press translation, which is years behind the web novel. I was accompanying the light novel because I'm somewhat of a collector. I just like reading physical books. It's just a thing. Even if I do recognize that the fan translations sometimes are more nuanced and overall just better. But I was a light novel for the longest time, but it came to a point where it was just like, I want to catch up. I want to read more. There's a ton of material out there that's just being gatekept from me because of Yen Press's atrocious release schedule. So I'm just going to read the web novel, the fan translated web novel, and I haven't regretted it. So if you want to collect the books and read the books, I have a bunch of them here, which you guys can probably see on screen right now. I love them. I very much would recommend people to read the light novel. Some people overly hate the light novel. Yes, some translations aren't ideal, but I think people overly hate it. At the end of the day, it is a finished version, and even if the translation isn't the best, I think it's still an excellent read. But if you want to really be a fan of ReZero and get into the fandom and know all about the latest releases, you just have to get into the web novel. There's just no other chance for an English speaker. If you are, I think it's Polish. If you are Polish, I think the Polish translation is just like one volume behind or something. It's insane. I don't know what they put in the water in Poland, but the Polish translators, maybe they just love ReZero over there, I don't know. But the Polish translators are very, very good. I think it's Poland. I may be wrong about this. Because I am reading Nothing But Bars, Keep Spitting King. Thank you, HoloSim, thank you. YouTube may not like you, but I do enjoy you. Because I'm reading the light novel, I don't know if I should change to the web novel. So, OZWS, my recommendation, personally what I did, I would recommend if you're on a certain story arc, read that story arc until the end in whatever version you're reading. So if you're reading the light novel, read the light novel version of that arc. There are some events that change, and also differences in translation can make it sometimes a bit confusing. So I would recommend if you're reading, for example, arc 6, finish arc 6 in the light novel and then jump to the web novel. If you are reading arc 7 of the light novel, then you are screwed because Yen Press is never going to finish that in the next, let's say, 3 years. So I would probably at that point just say screw it and jump into the web novel because there's nothing else to read. Let me just check that. Hold up. I know this is a massive tangent here, guys, but a lot of you guys are ReZero fans. So let me just see this. ReZero volume list. List of ReZero volumes. So blah, 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 blah. Where is Yen Press? Where is Yen Press? Boy, they're still at volume 28. That's insane. So just for reference, just in case you guys don't know, currently I made my latest videos about ReZero December. So we are at volume 43. Volume 43. And Yen Press, the official English translation, just barely this month released volume 28. That is insane. They haven't even finished arc 7. They're never going to finish arc 7 in the next 2 years, by the way. That's insane. That's crazy. Either way, back to the list. I can't distract myself because I only have 2 hours to stream. Where was okay. I saw that in the Q&A that the new director said they will try to cut out less content, and I think that's a wonderful thing. I think ReZero really uses well extended episodes. I think if they cut very little content, I think that's going to be great. I think I'll speak about that another time, but I think not including the Al reveal in season 3 was a very big miss. Either way. Arc 6 of the light novel left me confused at times until I read the web novel. I mean, some things in the web novel, due to the fan translation, some things are just clearer. And also, the web novel is just overall more verbose. So, because it has more time to explain, it can be easier to understand, I guess. I personally had a perfectly enjoyable reading experience through the web novel. Then I go to wiki, see the changes, what is canon. Yeah, I mean, that is perfectly fine as well. There were slight changes. For example, in arc 5, I guess for you guys in the web novel, Capella wanted the heart of someone who loved, or the body of someone who loved. It was a weird thing. That was all cut out in arc 5. And also just slight differences. Louis, for example, was revealed, her face was revealed in arc 5 in the light novel, so I already knew that. Some of you web novel readers found that strange because that didn't happen in the web novel, but either way, I think it's fine. Should I read the light novel until I run out and then go with the web novel? OZWS, I would recommend you to, if you're reading arc 6, then you can finish arc 6, and I would recommend as soon as you jump into arc 7 to jump into the web novel. I don't think it makes a lot of sense for you to read like the 4 volumes that are available of the light novel and jump into the web novel. I think you should just start a story arc in the web novel and just go from there. Truly a masterpiece. It's not perfect. Hey AJ, how's it going? Yeah, it's some of the best ReZero work, for sure. You guys know how I feel about Arc 9 without wanting to spoil anything. Arc 9 is my favorite, but Arc 6 is definitely my second favorite. And it's very close. It's very close. It's not like I enjoy one much more than the other. I think it's very close. Okay, let's go back to this tier list because we have to finish it. My Hero Academia, the final season. I'm going to put into top 6. It is not my anime of the year. It is not. I think My Hero Academia, for better or for worse, has a lot of flaws. I think it's a flawed show. I think that's a fair statement to say. I don't think that's unfair in any way. But this last season was, in terms of presentation and animation, my goodness, those sequences with Izuku and Bakugo just flying through the air and blitzing with their powers, and the fights and the emotion, it was all so raw. I will confess something right now on stream for the 10 people watching, okay? There were times watching My Hero Academia final season where I almost got teary-eyed, okay? This is just a confession, okay? This is just... Actually, this is not a confession. This is an AI of me speaking. This is a deep fake. This is not real. Anyway, real men don't have feelings, bro. Either way, My Hero Academia final season is tremendous. Having said that, I think that it is still My Hero in the sense that it still has some flaws with the show that I don't super enjoy. For example, flaw number 1, I think that I hate this sort of thing that Naruto just instilled in the shonen genre for some reason, where all of the final arcs have to be this sort of big war. I don't think My Hero Academia needed a big war as the final arc. I think it sort of bloated itself with too many events. I think there was a lot of juice in the contrast between Izuku and Shigaraki, the main hero, the main villain. I think there was a lot of juice there that they could have squeezed further. They didn't need to convolute it so much. I also think All For One, the main villain, is incredibly lame. I'm sorry, guys. I think the most compelling dynamic that he has is the dynamic with All Might, because they're so opposites of each other in terms of values. But I think All For One is just... I think he's just a lame villain. I just don't like him. He's just generically evil is the best way I can put it. So that's why, for me, My Hero is just not top 1, especially because this is the final season of a show that I think... in general is not the best, so it's hard to sort of just ramp everything back up at the final season. I think the final season was very good. I have a very positive idea of it, but having said that, I still have some problems with My Hero Academia that I don't think were totally addressed by the final season. Up next, okay, and now I have to talk about this, okay guys? This is where the real top 1 comes. And I've been thinking about this all day, actually. It's so geeky, but I've been thinking about this all day, and I don't know what to choose. Because my top 1 is either Chainsaw Man or Takopi, okay? And for those of you, I'll talk about Takopi in a bit. Chainsaw Man was... man, it was so good. It was incredible. From the cinematography, the story, the characters, the soundtrack, the animations. Oh my goodness. It's so peak, injected into my veins. Chainsaw Man was godlike. It was incredible. It's just, I have to put it in top 1. Just even if temporarily. It's so good. But at the same time, there's a part of me that wants to think should I put a movie as the best anime of 2026? Am I being discriminating against movies? I don't know, man. I don't know. Should a movie be in the top one? Because it's sort of like it's comparing apples to oranges in a way. So, I don't know. I don't know. You guys tell me. And then we have Takopi, which Takopi to me, in my summer tier list, I confess, and once again, guys, this is a tier list that I'm making, but I'm a very biased human being, obviously. If you ask me any day of the week, this could change slightly. This is just a general idea of my favorite shows, right? But in my summer tier list, I'm pretty sure that I put Lord of the Mysteries as my anime of the season over Takopi. But in retrospect, looking back, Lord of the Mysteries does have some flaws, which I've already addressed, and Takopi is just so short but so intense. It's just gut punches. It's just 6 episodes of just pa 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 pa. And you can argue that the final hook was perhaps not as strong as it could have been, but this story was just it was just raw. It was just raw emotion. And I will be honest, my heart and my psychological state of mind could not handle a season full of Takopi-like anime, but as a sort of hidden gem by itself, I love this. It was amazing. Takopi was just so good, so intense, and I think it annoys me that people in retrospect, the same people that were on social media just screaming themselves over the Takopi episodes, now in retrospect are saying, it wasn't that good. It's like, bros, I hate recency bias so much, and I obviously fall prey to it as well, but I think it's so unfair that people just sort of try to diminish Takopi just because they're farther in time from when it aired. Takopi was amazing, and honestly, it's between these two. It's between these two, my top one. I will follow my gut feeling here. I will follow my gut feeling, and I will put the one I enjoy the most in top one. It has to be the Reze movie, guys. It has to be the Reze movie. I will say, should I change it to top 2? To have like an anime, like an actual series and a movie? I don't want to be a coward, okay? I don't want to be a coward. I want to run the list until the end, but at the same time, I want to put a list in a movie. A series and a movie. I think it's a bit comparing apples to oranges. Let me check the chat. I will ask the audience for help. Audience for help. Audience, help me. By the end of the season, I really like One for All. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, that's fair. I just never really grew to like him too much. Takopi made me cry and Chainsaw Man made me go crazy. So both would be a fair take. Yep. That's my take as well. Robbery. Which one is the robbery? I think a movie in top 1 is fair. Takopi is also deserving. Yep. I think Mappa overdid itself in the Chainsaw Man movie. Takopi is also a masterpiece. My god, it broke me a lot. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. Takopi left me an emotional wreck. When I watched certain episodes, I was very close to crying. It's a very tough show to watch. It's very hard to digest. In that sense, Chainsaw Man was more fun, even it was also very depressing and sad at times. Chainsaw Man was a lot more fun to watch, but once again, would we devalue art just because it is sad, even though it's intent to be sad and to like give you a heartfelt message, you know? I think Reze arc deserves number 1 so quickly for releasing the movie for streaming. Okay. Number 1, at least from it's definitely hard to choose. At Takopi tier, we accept. M. Jundar, you guys accept. Having a top 1 is a good idea. Having Ryan is cool. Because of how short Takopi. I mean, goddamn it, Inko, you brought up a very good point. Takopi might as well be a movie because of how short it is. I mean, goddamn, it's hard to argue with that, isn't it? I don't really have an argument for that. I'll just do it like this. I don't want to be a coward, so I will leave the top 1. I will leave Chainsaw Man is my anime of the year. But for you guys that watch the stream, that are watching right now, you guys know that if, for example, in the Crunchyroll Awards, there's different categories between Movie of the Year and Anime of the Year, You guys know Chainsaw Man is my anime of the year. Sorry, Chainsaw Man is my movie of the year, and Takopi is my anime of the year. So let's do the list. Let's keep the list as it is, which means now that we have to demote something from top 6 back down to top 16 because we have filled the 5 allotted slots for top 6. That's why these lists are more fun, because there's drama, there's demotions. Vigilantes. I think it's probably the one I enjoyed the least out of all of these ones. I could put Vigilantes on top and My Hero Academia final season on the bottom, just to piss off my hero fans, just to trigger everybody. But I won't. I think it's fair. I think it's fair to demote Vigilantes. Okay, let's keep going. Dandadan. God damn it. This is another great one, isn't it? It's another great one. But Dandadan season 2 was very, very good. But once again, I think we're full, man. I think we're full at the top. I can't see anything that I would demote over Dandadan. Because the thing about Dandadan is that it's super freaky. It's a very well animated, very cool anime to watch. The characters are very likable. I particularly enjoy the romance between the two main characters. This is season 1. I'm wanting season 2. I particularly enjoy the romance between the two main characters. I think it's very well done. I enjoy, once again, the presentation. It's very cool. But the thing about Dandadan, which I think almost it's part of its charm, but at the same time, it's sort of what holds it back. The story for Dandadan is just, there's kind of like no story. It's just chaos. Like, I couldn't tell you like what we're doing at any given moment in time. I know that we're trying to save this person and get this dude's balls back or whatever, but it's just a sequence of events that just keeps happening, like a hype train that never stops, but it doesn't have a sort of really coherent storyline. There's no overarching grand theme. Like, for example, Naruto wants to be the Hokage, Luffy wants to find the One Piece. Like, what is happening in Dandadan, you know? And I think at some points it just holds it back for me, because I'm a person that, even though I can enjoy episodic anime, at some point I need something to strive for, to aim for, and that's what's sort of missing in Dandadan, in my opinion. So yeah, in my opinion, it's probably at the top of top 16. I may do just a slight ordering at the end. I may not, but let's see. It's definitely, I think it is a much stronger anime in terms of overall storyline, writing, whatever. It is stronger than, let's say, Demon Slayer and Solo Leveling, even though the animation may not be as gorgeous, but it's almost as gorgeous, and the writing and characters are much better. It's just, I can't see any anime that I would demote over Dandadan from this list. I just liked every single one of these 5 more than I did Dandadan. Let's see. Dandadan, top of top 16. Yeah, Azure Spoon, that's exactly it. It's, for me, top of top 16. Holo Simp, Random Monster number 4 was not a very compelling antagonist. Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. It's the random monsters, and it's, for example, one of the episodes in season 2, they're just fighting the ghost of Beethoven, which, okay, cool, but, you know, I don't know. Maybe I'm being too harsh on Dandadan, but at some point I think what Dandadan needs, in my opinion, for the type of viewer that I am, I think Dandadan needs a sort of bigger story arc. Much like, for example, Apothecary Diaries, which was very episodic, but kept leaving in these clues, which sort of converge at the end for this big story arc that was super epic and super good, and I enjoyed it very much. I think Dandadan needs that. It needs a big story arc, and to stop being so villain of the week, for my taste. Once again, I know some people won't agree, but for me personally. Up next, Spy Family. I will be, once again, completely transparent on this one. Where is my list? This is my manga list. This is my anime list. Where is Spy Family? I'm watching this with my wife. We are slow watching this, okay, guys? She's watching some K-dramas or whatever she's into, and I'm watching also. I had to catch up to the Summer Hikaru died, and I wanted to watch some other things as well. So we haven't been watching a lot of this. Once again, even without watching the full anime, okay, maybe the last episodes are mind-blowingly amazing, okay, maybe they are, but in my opinion, I think it's middle of the pack. It's very, very good. It's wholesome fun. It's very, very funny, in my opinion. It's very wholesome. It leaves all of my heart with fuzzy vibes. It's so good, so heartwarming. I think if you want to heal yourself after watching Takopi, you should go and watch Spy Family. I think it will sort of mend the wound. But yeah, but having said that, I once again can't see it putting it any higher than that. And let's see, by the way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Ooh, we have to demote something. Oh, yeah, we'll demote Sakamoto season 1. Yeah, that's an easy one. Oh, this is season 2? Oh, yeah, still season 2. Yeah, sure, fine. Okay, whatever. Up next, let's just read the chat a little bit. I've begun. I'll admit season 3 will peak. You will get it. I'll say nothing else. I mean, if it has a big story arc, then yeah, sure. I hope so. They just need a big story arc to really get going, in my opinion. Season 2 was supposed to be part of season 1. It's incomplete. Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I mean, they just left the episode, just sort of blue-balled us. The season 1 was very, very strange the way it ended. Spy Family makes my heart feel good. Real That's Around. It's such a good show for the heart. It is a good show for the heart. It's so incredibly wholesome. It's so incredibly wholesome. And I like that there are people, real men in this chat. A real man does not stray away from the wholesomeness. A real man has feelings. A real man cries watching Takopi and then cries watching Spy Family. Okay, that's what a real man does. Okay, now 100 meters. This is probably going to be the very controversial part of this live stream, but I just have to do it. I loved Orb. Let's start right there. Where is Orb? Where is Orb? It should be around here. It's here. How much did I give Orb? I gave it 9. I should have maybe given it 10. I don't know. Oh, I didn't give it 10 because the ending, but whatever. Let's not get into that. Either way, I loved Orb. Orb was amazing. It was fantastic. The writing, the characters, the dialogue, the stakes, the tension, this constant feeling of you watching the journey of an idea, something grander, something bigger than yourself. Of you watching these people, just this cumulative effort to really elevate the consciousness of humankind. Orb was banger, absolute banger, so good. The fact that Orb was so good screwed up 100 meters for me. I'm just going to be honest, because I think my problem was that I came into 100 meters with way too big of an expectation. And I think I goofed myself. I screwed myself. 100 meters, in my opinion, was good. Let me just say that right away. I think it was good. Having said that, I think it was nowhere near as good as Orb. And I don't think it was the movie of the year. Not even close. I think when people said that 100 meters was movie of the year, it was even better than Chainsaw Man, I'm like, once again, I respect all opinions. Sure, you're entitled to your own opinion, but what movies are you watching? Did you go to a different screening than I did? But like, what? Better than Chainsaw Man? That is crazy. I'm sorry, man. That sounds like delusional talk for me. Once again, I may have ruined my own experience of watching 100 meters because my hype was over the top. I think this is one of those movies where I will watch years from now by myself, just on a random afternoon, and I will maybe rethink my idea of this movie. But as of right now, what I think is this. This movie was, in my opinion, the pacing was not good. It sort of jumped all over the place. It jumped all over the timeline. It introduced all of these characters. It introduced a lot of things that in the grander scheme of things weren't that important. I wonder, because I didn't read the manga. So I wonder if they cut a lot of material to really fit it into the movie time slot. But, sorry, I'm being possessed by a demon. I'm just dying over here. I wonder if they sort of cut a lot of the bulk of the story, because a lot of the things didn't make sense. They didn't seem properly paced. I think the movie jumped around way too much, and this movie has incredible moments of animation. This movie has incredible monologues where a character will just tell you something that just sort of blows you away. My favorite monologue in this movie was the one where the bearded character that sort of looks like Novak, which is also the main villain of Orb, which is super hilarious, by the way, and has the same voice actor even, which is super funny. But this movie has moments where they will just blow me away, like when a certain character, that one character says, for example, where he's trying to escape reality with his eyes open. He will not run from it in the sense that he will avoid it, but he will accept what is and try to escape it to evade it nonetheless, to shape reality through his own effort into one that he can accept. That is just... There are some inspirational quotes from this movie that are amazing. And the animation, once again, a lot of people found the rotoscoping to be a bit jarring. Me personally, I didn't. I think that certain scenes, like the rain scene, for example, where you see every single runner preparing himself, and you can see it was rotoscoped because the runners all have sort of different details and stances of getting ready. You can see it's actually real people underneath the animation. Super, super good. Having said all that, I think that this movie is a string of good moments and good monologues in between a very messy and rushed, not super well-structured story. That is my opinion, which is why I'm going to put it a bit down below here. Actually, you know what? I will put it here, but I will demote. I will demote. Will I demote? I'm trying to think, because in terms of enjoyment, I did enjoy Clevatess more, but I do think Orb, from an artistic standpoint, the 100 meters from an artistic standpoint is a better movie, but I don't care about objectiveness. This is my list, so screw it. It's going on top 25. I don't care. I don't care. We're being ruthless today. Okay, now let's just read your characters. Orb is goated. Yup, it is goated. I got 9-ish episodes left of Orb. So good, but I'm taking my time with it. Yeah, man. I mean, Orb is super, super good. It got me hooked from episode 3 onwards. If you're taking it slow, I would advise you, to just take it slow. Watch it at your own time. I think it is very, very good. I will say, I think that the ending wasn't quite what I was expecting. I don't think the ending was super satisfying for Orb, personally. But yeah, it's still, the overall series is just incredible. And the ending isn't bad, by the way. It's just not perfect, but the ending is not bad. Now, Gachiakuta. Oh my goodness. We're having to demote again. Gachiakuta goes, oh boy. Hold up, guys. Give me a minute. We are back. I've been an astronomy autist all my life. Yeah, I mean, if you're into astronomy, then Orb is a series for you, without a doubt. Gachiakuta goes straight into top 16. It's just a matter of what do I demote. We're going to take out, I think we take out Uma Musume Season 1. I think that's fine. Yep. Gachiakuta was amazing, okay? Gachiakuta was, and once again, this is one of those anime where I think looking at it back in retrospect is actually better than the evaluation that I initially had of it after the first cour, because I think the first cour is already very good. This is a very stylish anime with a lot of personality. The character designs, the graffiti, the overall way the characters dress. Gachiakuta has a lot of personality. It has a lot of style. It is unlike many other anime out there currently in the moment. But the thing about Gachiakuta was that it was, even though it always had this sort of mystery element, it was more of not generic, but it was more of the tropey battle shonen with the sort of angry main character that just wants to make friends and is very lonely. I think from the second cour onwards, it really, really hit its stride, and it started taking these tropes and elevating them to the next level. Gachiakuta is super good. It introduced this character called Amo. Let me see if I can get her on screen. Maybe, I don't know if it's good to get her on screen. But dude, the episode with... I'll try to put it like this so you guys can see it. But yeah, you guys know I'm talking about Amo. The episode with Amo messed me up. It was so creepy, so terrifying, but at the same time so well made, and in a tasteful way, because I want to be clear here. You can tackle like controversial or more adult topics, but you can do so in a way that is just not super palatable, in a way that feels either fetishized or disingenuous or just for shock value. I think you can see Gachiakuta was written by a woman because the episode was powerful, but it was tasteful. It was super good. I think once the episode of Amo, which is one of the best episodes in the series, in my opinion, once this episode started, the second arc kicked into gear and it was even better. I loved Gachiakuta so much, and in my opinion, if this was one of those where the cours are separated, like for example Uma Musume, I would put cour 1 in top 25 and cour 2 in top 16. I think the second cour just was so much better. Now let's check out you guys. I heard Moist critical glazing 100 meters in the recent video, so this is an interesting perspective to keep in mind before starting. Yeah, I want to say this. This is the second or third time that an anime movie that is very glazed by content creators is one that I am somewhat disappointed by. It's like the second or third time this has happened. Maybe I'm just not a movie person. It's entirely possible. I didn't think that Suzume was all that much. I didn't think that The Boy and the Heron was all that much. Maybe it's just a me thing, but I think I'm almost afraid, once again, for you guys that came into the previous stream, I showed you what my most viewed video is, which is an embarrassment. It's the review for Boy and the Heron, which at the time, the video sort of popped off because there was a lot of buzz for Boy and the Heron. And my review at the time was the only negative review on the YouTube app. So I'm almost afraid of making a video talking about 100 meters because I feel like, once again, I'm going to be the only content creator that didn't enjoy it that much, or at least I enjoyed it, but I didn't think it was perfect. And I think to even dare say that it is close or that is on the same level of Chainsaw Man movie Reze, that is just delusional in my opinion. So I'm afraid of once again making a sort of somewhat negative review and getting piled on just the hate on the comments and whatnot. But yeah, I don't know if I'll make a standalone video for 100 meters, but I will say I did want to make a video to sort of digest and sort of compress my own thoughts and really structure them and really try to delve deeper into why perhaps it wasn't as good as I was expecting. So yeah, there's that. My goat, I mean horse, demoted so easily. I mean, listen, it was demoted. The cour 1, cour 2 is here and nobody will take it away from top 16, okay? Yeah, for Gachiakuta, I get it. Yeah, I mean, Gachiakuta is just super good, right? Super good. Yeah, so now let's finish off this list. It's a shame that no six-pack isn't on the stream. No six-pack. If you're watching this from the future, this one is for you, my man. Kaiju number 8. It goes in the top 25. Once again, Kaiju number 8 is not bad. But it's also not super good. It's mid. Kaiju number 8 is just... Kaiju number 8 is, to me, the quintessential generic shonen. The animation isn't great, but it's not bad either. It has its moments where it's good. The soundtrack is not mind-blowingly amazing, but it's not bad either. It has its soundtracks that sound pretty good. The characters are what they are. They serve their purpose. It's very action-oriented. There's a lot of fighting. It's just one of those shows where if people say that Kaiju number 8 is shonen slop, I laugh at that. But at the same time, I understand where they're coming from, honestly. Kaiju number 8, it's fun. It's fun. It's a fun mid. It's a fun mid. It's a mid you have fun watching. And there's nothing wrong with that, okay? There's nothing wrong with being a fun mid. Speaking of fun mid, let's go into Ginpachi, which also goes into top 25, in my opinion, once again. Ginpachi was, for better or for worse, a side story with the characters of Gintama in a high school setting. I think that the humor didn't always land. I think sometimes they were a bit constrained by the high school setting. I think the main character was greatly nerfed in terms of comedic effect because he is a professor, so he sort of has to be more detached from the goofiness of the student characters. Having said that, it is still Gintama. I still love these characters with all my heart. I would feel bad putting it any less than top 25, but to be totally honest, I don't think it's a super good anime. I don't think it's super good in the sense that the animation is very much mediocre. It is what it is. It's a episode of the week type of anime, type of you can put any episode on. You can start from episode 8, 7, whatever. You just sort of get the jokes. You go on with it. It's like watching Family Guy or Simpsons or whatnot. It's sort of like even watching Spy Family, who is also very episodic. I thought it was fun. I thought it was funny, but realistically speaking, I can't demote any of the ones above it for it. So it goes into top 25. And now, ooh, this is actually tough. This is actually tough because my initial instinct is to put Gnosia in the top 6. I greatly enjoyed Gnosia. I think Gnosia is mad underrated, mad underwatched. I think Gnosia is tremendous. It's sort of like Among Us, the anime, where you have this spaceship where they are the Gnosia who are out to get the humans, and the humans have to sort of, through deduction, guess who is the Gnosia and try to kick them out of the ship, send them into cold sleep. That's pretty much the premise of the show. Gnosia is tremendous. I think the soundtrack is incredible. The opening, the ending, so good. I think the animation isn't the best, but I think that Gnosia anime. But I think that the character designs are super wacky, super colorful, super visually appealing. I think that the ladies are also very interesting. I just think that this show does so many good things and is so fun to watch. Having said that, I don't think it makes top 6. I can't look at anything else in the top 6 that I would demote it. I would maybe demote My Hero Academia, but I know you guys will be mad at me. And no, I won't. The thing also I will say, Gnosia is a case of this is only the first core that I'm evaluating. And it will have its second core in 2026. So it's a shame that I can't just sort of look at Gnosia as a whole. But looking at the first core only, I can't in good faith put it in top 6. So it has to go into top 16. Which means we have to demote another thing. Which, I'm thinking of demoting either Spy Family or Clevatess. It will be one of those two. I'm not sure which. I'm thinking about it. I like watching Spy Family so much, man. Even if it's very episodic, and I do like longer running stories with, once again, an overarching storyline and a sort of goal and whatnot. Spy Family is just so fun. It's just wholesome fun. The Clevatess was so good though. Do I just go for a curveball? What if it's none of these? What if I just demote Windbreaker Season 2? Yeah, I think I'll just do that, honestly. Yeah, I'll just demote Windbreaker. Yeah, I'll just demote Windbreaker Season 2. And so, yeah, this is it. Let's just take a look. Let's just put it smaller. This is it. So, 5, this is 10, this is 9. So, 3, 6, 9, 10, 9. This is 5, this is 1. Yep. We are finished. This is a sort of normal looking distribution. Once again, guys, this is 31 anime and I wanted to have a top 1 and a bottom 1. So I couldn't really make a perfect normal distribution with this one. But yeah, this is the final list. And I have to say it looks pretty solid to me. I'm not going to order all of them, but just for reference, I think obviously Chainsaw Man is the best. Takopi is the best of its tier. You guys know that I had this big ordeal where I wasn't even sure if it was my top 1, so Takopi is the best of top 6. I think that... I think Dandadan is probably the best of top 16. Maybe Gachiakuta? Maybe Gnosia. There's so many good anime top 16. I don't think there's a clear best here. I think Takopi, in my opinion, once again, is the clear best of top 6. I think for top 25... the clear best is either 100 meters, Cinderella Grey, or Windbreaker Season 2, which I just demoted mercilessly. Yeah, I'm not going to pick one. It's just, listen, guys, I already had the courage to do all of these demotions. I'm going to be a coward at the end. I'm not going to like order them or anything. That would be too much trouble. I'd be here all day. So, yeah, I think... Takopi, maybe Dandadan, I guess. Maybe Gachiakuta. I'll say Gachiakuta is the best of top 16. Let's leave it at Gachiakuta. Here I will pick Musume. I'll say is the best of top 25. Here, the best of top 30. I mean, taking into consideration I dropped Fumetsu no Anata. This one surely isn't it. I will say the best of top 30 is probably Lazarus. I will say at some point the quality of animation, the fluidity of the parkour and the action scenes and the soundtrack, it has to count for something, right? I think it's Lazarus is the clear best of top 30. And yeah, Assassin Exceeds the Hero is the bottom of the pile. I didn't enjoy that at all. I dropped it. I think it's terrible. So yeah, Let's now go check your guys' comments, and then I'll just make a quick comparison with the 2024 list, and then we'll close the stream because also I have to leave. So I appreciate the additional perspective you have provided. If I went into 100 meters, oh yeah, I already read this comment. Yeah, I think HoloSimp, if I were you, I think 100 meters, once again, very good, very well animated, especially if you don't mind the rotoscoping. But in my opinion, I think it is not as good as Orb. And I think people should temper their expectations. I saw other content creators and people online saying it was better than Chainsaw Man. I think that is ridiculous. I don't think it's better at all. Perfect enough. Thank you, OZWS. Inco10, which series is top 31? This garbage is Assassin Exceeds the Hero. I don't necessarily recommend that you watch it, but it's this one. Assassin, blah, 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 where is it? This one here, Assassin Exceeds the Hero. Once it has a super long name, you know it's a light novel adaptation. It's either going to be very mediocre or it's going to be a hidden banger. It was not a hidden banger. Let's put it that way. I'm happy to have made it through the tier list. This is the first stream I've made too. It only cost me maybe 3 hours of sleep. Damn, 3 hours of sleep. That's crazy, man. Come on, G. I also slept very poorly today, if I'm being honest. And I was along many other things doing preparation for this stream. So thank you a lot for watching it. I know I wanted to stream later. So later for me, earlier for you guys. I'm assuming you're from the American continent, because most of my viewers are actually from the United States and from Latin America. So I wanted to stream later because it's just streaming at this time. It's very early in the morning for you guys, especially if you're on the West Coast. So I wanted to stream later, but it's just simply not a possibility for now. I really wanted to stream later. And also, for those of you who are going to watch this in the future, I just want to say thank you so much to all of my American viewers, because my last stream I did around the same time as I'm doing now, around 4 o'clock for me. So that's less 8 hours. That's like 8 in the morning for you guys. So most of you guys obviously didn't watch it live, but even in the replay, most of my viewers are still American. So even for those of you that watch this in the future as a VOD, thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much. Inco 10 looks good. Thank you. If you watch Watanabe, that would have easily taken the top 1 spot. Pikuri. Pikuri. Watanabe. I don't know what this is. Watanabe. What is that? Watanabe. Is it... What is that? Is it this one? There's no freaking way I'll be your lover. Unless... Yeah. Okay, mate. Yeah, maybe another time. Okay, I can see what this is about now. Yeah, maybe another time. I'll watch it another time. Yeah, middle tiers are not necessarily to order strictly. Where are you, bro? I'm from Portugal. So currently I'm on the same schedule as the United Kingdom. So it is currently almost 7 p.m. for me. So that's where I'm streaming from during the afternoon. Okay, so now, like I promised you guys, let's just make a quick comparison. Let's just open up my own YouTube. Hold up. Oh, I already have YouTube open. Let me just... Where am I? Hold up. I don't know. I think that YouTube has taken that, but there was a thing where if you showed like your dashboard, that you were penalized for something because of the earnings. They couldn't show the earnings. But I think that was back in the day when people weren't actually partnered through YouTube. They were through these partner companies or whatever. I don't know if anyone even knows what I'm saying, but it was back in the day, old type of YouTube. But either way, 2024. Let's see if I can find my 2024 tier ranking. Okay. Let's open the video on YouTube and let's see what I came up with. And now let's see which year had the best anime. Okay. So this was my final tier list for 2024, and this is my 2025 tier list. Let's see if I can sort of put them side by side. Okay, this is tough. This is a tough call, actually. Because, once again, I didn't do the tops in the same way I did the previous year, right? But, yeah, I mean, Dungeon Meshi was incredible. Rezero, I'm a Rezero fanboy. I don't need to tell you anything else, right? Then we had Dandadan, we had Soul Leveling Season 1, Blue Box was also very good. I put Kaiju number 8 at great. I put Blue Box in great? Was I drunk? What the hell? Shangri-La was also tremendous, very, very good. Oshinoko Season 2 was my favorite season, likely of the show. It adapts my favorite arc. I put Kaiju number 8 in Blue Box over stuff like Dragon Ball Daima and Windbreaker? Huh. What was I smoking? I put it over Bleach? What is happening? What? What the hell? This just goes to show, guys, that from one year to the other, like, my opinions can differ with the power of retrospect and all whatnot. Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't agree with my list at all. I don't agree with my 2024 list at all. I don't know if there's like a magic of doing these like as a sort of video I'm recording or doing it as a live stream. It's just more interactive, right? But I don't know. I don't know what I was smoking. If I redid the 2024 list, I think it would look different. I think peak tier would still be about the same. I would say that, no, a peak tier would not be the same because it would include Orb, because I didn't watch Orb at the time. So, major differences. Orb would be in peak tier. I would probably still put ReZero as my anime of the year because I'm a biased fanboy. But realistically speaking, if I did like a ReZero tier just to sort of get it out the way, I would put Orb as my anime of the year. I would say Dungeon Meshi and Dandadan are peak for sure. I would demote Kaiju number 8. I would demote Blue Lock. I would promote probably Windbreaker and Dragon Ball Daima, and also Bleach. And yeah, Wistoria, the story was weak, and Spice and Wolf was kind of middling. It was kind of uneventful towards the middle of the season, so I think it's fair putting it that good. And yeah, and man, I watched a lot of meh shows. I watched a lot of mid shows that year. Yeah, so I can't remember. I really can't remember who asked this, but to whoever asked it, I think overall, just looking at both lists, it is very clear to me, despite being a ReZero fanboy or whatever, and ReZero also aired this year, I just didn't count it for the list, but I think 2025 was a much stronger year overall than 2024. Much stronger. I think even just comparing like just the middling tiers, it's just, bro, it's just, the 2025 just beats it 10-0. That's just insane. That's just insane. Much, much better. Yeah, 2025 was a hell of an upgrade. Hell of an upgrade. 1950 here. Yeah, so you're also in Europe. 5:50 a.m. in Australia. Damn, bro, you're watching in Australia. That's crazy. Thank you so much for the support, man. Well, it's 5 a.m. It's almost 6 a.m. for you. That's insane. That's insane. The contrast in commenting in Kaiju. That's funny. The Topps ranking seems very unique. I really like it. Yeah, man, I literally just, I'll put the chat on stream just so YouTube doesn't censor anybody. Yeah, man, I just, I thought that doing a tier list, especially because, once again, 2025 was so good that I would just dump most of the anime into peak and good. And I think having a top gives a better idea of what I actually thought was best. And I think it's just more interesting as a video. Mushoku Tensei in mid. Yeah, man, yeah, man, I'm sorry. I don't want to open that can of worms. I'll just say that I did not like the ED arc at all. I thought it was very goofy, and I just don't like the main character. I really tried, man. I tried my best, especially because, once again, I feel like I'm having this conversation every month or so, but I really tried to like and love Mushoku Tensei because I think it has a lot of great things. I think that the world building, the animation, the presentation, it's all so good. But I just can't with the main character. I just strongly dislike him. I've never hated a main character so much that's a main character that I think you're supposed to like. Because there are main characters that are villains that you're sort of supposed to hate or whatever. I don't think that's the case with Rudio's. And the thing is, people, Mushoku Tensei fans, kept telling me that it was a sort of redemption story. And I watched the entire second season, and I'm still waiting. The redemption in my eyes never came. If anything, he became worse in some aspects. But yeah, once again, I don't want to piss off Mushoku Tensei fans. I always have a ton of dislikes whenever I say this, but I just can't keep my mouth shut. Whatever. I think it's good, man. It's a good anime. I put it in mid mostly because I can't like the main character, and I thought that the ED storyline was beyond ridiculous. Either way, yeah. So this was it. Thank you to all of the people that became a member of this stream. Thank you to all of the people that watched it live. If you're watching this from the future, I hope that I had time already to do the timestamps. If not, then thank you for watching this raw with no timestamps. You're a real G. Thank you to everybody that watched it. I'm just going to quickly plug my Twitter if you guys want to follow me there. I often just let you guys know whenever I stream and whenever I post other things. So yeah, also certain anime that I'm watching, I just don't have time to make a video, but I'll just make a tweet about it or whatever. So yeah, that's the final plug. Thank you so much for guys watching. Thank you so much for the final 8 concurrent viewers. I really appreciate you all. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the stream. This is the final list. And I will now click on the button to end the stream. In 3, 2, 1.